You're watching The Roach on Florida TV.
As a musician, any thoughts about music today, where it's headed? I don't know, I mean, you must have some opinions on that.
Boy, it's a mess. It's totally a mess.
Now, why do you say that? What?
The record business is just such a scam.
It's fucked up, isn't it?
It's amazing. It just blows my mind how they dangle these carrots in front of people. Like America's Got Talent and what's the other one? All those shows. Basically,
American
they
Idol.
have to sign these ridiculous contracts where they might get.
They really own them, don't they? After that,
Totally.
Yeah.
And they might be incredible talents.
Right.
And they'll come along say they only got 50% of what they're going to make for the next 10 years.
Right.
The agent gets 15 or 20%. The record company's going to get a percentage of that. The
manager.
Yeah, the manager. So they end up with like 5 or 6%.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Out of that 100%.
Right.
And I guess if you sell enough at records,
I don't know.
Or you stream enough records, you might make some money, but it's not.
But they would probably argue on their side, without that show, nobody would ever know who you are, right?
Exactly.
Is that what they would say?
Exactly. Every A&R or record company guy gets 250, records or CDs or whatever they got now.
Right.
However they're coming in on thumb drives or whatever, 250 a day, and they might listen to 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
And a lot of it's payola still to this day.
Is it?
Yeah, they will end up, greasing his palm. Here, take a listen to this.
It used to be a line of Coke or something, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know if they're doing that, but they'll end up giving them $100 or something to take a listen. And my friend Billy Chapin was in the Backstreet Boys, and he saw the whole inside of that whole thing, how it all worked, and he's an engineer producer now to this day, and an incredible engineer and a great songwriter. He writes songs with Stan Lynch, the drummer for Tom Petty, up in St. Augustine all the time.
Right.
Was just up there a week or two ago. Was in Nashville 6 months ago and did the Don Henley album. And was running Pro Tools. Stan was there being the producer, and Billy was in another studio and said, the Pro Tools guy didn't show up. Can you run Pro Tools? And he goes in and meets Don Henley. And in that week that he was there, he met Trisha Yearwood, Brad Paisley, Dolly Parton, Vince Gill. And these guys were coming in to sing backups on Henley's stuff. And Billy was recording these guys.
Nice.
And Stan would go, and they've got the A-list players, studio guys from Nashville's
playing amazing.
These tunes. And every time there would be a break, these guys would start jamming. And Stan would go, Billy, hit record. And here's a 5-minute jam of these guys just going off, just playing all kinds of crazy stuff. And Billy said he came out of there with his mouth hanging down. Every day he would hear the best players in the world just doing their thing, for 5 minutes, just having fun,
So what is a young band, like if you're a young band like you guys were, and let's just say you were really serious about music, what do you do today to get in front of people, to even get them? I think about this a lot. I actually do. Like I think about it when I watch the singing shows or I watch America's Got Talent. Like I don't know what you do now except light yourself on fire and hope people don't get up and go get something to eat.
The songwriting has to be incredible. They got to be some weird little niche like, what's that band this sounds like Led Zeppelin that just came out from up in Ohio? Robert Plant goes, I hate that guy, the singer. It sounds just like me.
There's an endorsement.
Yeah. And what's their... can't think of their name right now, but they're a really good band, and they just happen to go bam. They sound like Led Zeppelin. And everybody goes, Led Zeppelin, wow, and they all jump on that bandwagon. If you can find something so unique, there's so much rap music going on. I never have understood it.
But is rock and roll dead though? Is it could we see that disappear just like I thought about this. Could that disappear like big band music? Because you got to be honest. If you turn on a rock and roll station, they're not playing new rock and roll bands.
No, there's none.
It's just classic rock.
There's none. And if you look at Guitar Player magazine every month, every guy on the cover is an old guy. You know, like
hey, what's
Jimmy Page,
Eddie Van Halen?
You know, just on and on and on.
Right.
It's like,
yeah. So is it dead? Is it going to be, you know, the Stones? I just saw them. I mean, is it over once these guys die off?
Tom Petty kicked the bucket. There's no more Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers because the Heartbreakers can't do it without him. So what are they going to do? Find some, like Journey did, find some guy that sounds exactly like Steve Perry and throw him up there, and they can continue to play because the guy is amazing.
Amazing.
He sounds just like
it's stunning.
Yeah. So I don't know. It wouldn't be Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It would be just the Heartbreakers or some guy.
But I'm thinking there's not even a venue. Like, in other words, there's not a venue. There's not radio stations anymore. If you were an up-and-coming Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Stones, Elton John, there's nowhere to play this music if you were up and coming with this. Is there? Am I missing it?
No, you're not. Where's the market? You know, all of us old guys, we love that stuff. And there's young people that I've been on surf trips with some young kids and stuff and turned them on to so-and-so, and they go, wow, that's really good. Where'd you find that?
Right.
You know, you tell them 4 or 5 bands, go listen to these guys. And they just go, wow, that's because they're not getting that stuff pushed on them.
Right.
You know?
Well, like even when Tom Petty was alive, if they came out with a new album, you'd never hear it unless you were a true fan and you'd go seek it out. There was no stations cranking out the latest from Tom Petty, you know, and that's the truth about, you know, if AC/DC comes out with a new song, you're not going to hear it on the radio. It isn't going to happen. No. Nobody's going to play it.
Yeah,
so I
don't know how a kid would make it nowadays. I mean, Billy produces bands all the time, and they're really good. And the amount of talent that's out there, you know, I don't know where he shops his stuff, but he has somebody he knows in a record company, and it'll send it to him, and I'll hear about this person 6 months down the road, and they're working on a cruise ship or something, you know, and
right.
It's like, okay, at least they're working, you know. It's like,
yeah, it's weird. I think about these bands. I guess I'm thinking like a band like the Killers, and you know, I guess that's considered rock, right? I mean, still is.
I never listened to the Killers, so
anyways, stuff like that. I just feel like this is all gonna. I think this is just going to go to the wayside, and you know, it's like pop music, and it's mainly, to me, it's mainly females. You know, is what you hear in pop music today.
Well, there's only about 2 or 3 writers that write about 90% of the pop music you hear. These guys, they got a formula for those tunes, and they use the same progressions. I just saw there's a guy, Rick Beato, in Atlanta. That's an amazing music teacher on YouTube, and he has like 1 million followers or something. And he just talked about those guys, those 3 or 4 people that are two of them are in England, I believe. There's a guy in Nashville, and all these Katy Perrys and all these, you know, Adele and all these other people that are
females. Yeah.
They all have these guys write their songs for them, and if you look on their album, you know, it won't be written by Adele and it won't be written by Katy Perry.
Right.
It's by and that guy might even use a different name or something to keep it from coming up so much, you know. But they're raking in all the money, the songwriters, because they get a big chunk of the pie.
You go back and you just like put on like a CD or an album of like a band like Boston, like listen to their first album.
Amazing.
It's stunning.
It is.
How good that stuff is. I don't care who you are. You could put it on for a young person and they'd go, I think they would go, yeah, it's pretty good. You know? I mean, that stuff was incredible. You know, even early Journey stuff, and, you know, amazing.
Those were great songwriters, and you know, it was spread out over a lot of good bands, but every so often somebody would hit that amazing tune that just struck a chord with everybody, and there's amazing lyrics and amazing melodies, and everybody just went to that song, and it became a huge hit. You know, and then you look at a song like I was thinking about this the other day, The Police, da-do-do-do, da-da-da-da. That song was played so much till it never got played again. You don't ever hear that song
Right.
anywhere.
Right.
Because they just ground it into people's heads, and
Right.
they just got sick of it, you know. So
always-
that can happen too, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if rock and roll just falls off a cliff, and I don't know. Maybe it'll come back, but
Yeah.
No more Roach on Florida TV.